Should be good now. Okay. Slideshow. Welcome all to another exciting workshop. Today we're gonna be going through something I hear a lot of persons interested in. People want to know, you know, how can I get that app on the coveted app store? Apple is always denying my app every 5 minutes, and I'm fed up with Apple now. I'm ready for just get the computer and just chuck it through the window for the third time this week. So our presenter today will be Michael Barrett, who I will be introducing to you all. But before that, let's go over our agenda, the welcome, our objectives, recap of some past events, introduction of the speaker, upcoming events, and the wrap-up. All right, so let me tell you about the community, right? Our mission is really to strengthen the development skills of Jamaicans. We are geared towards training developers to properly build and market software solutions from an idea to production, or an idea to the App Store in this case. So you learn to build and market your skills, learn to learn and share your knowledge, get help online and in person. Sometimes you have that one semicolon missing on line 1002, and we just need another set of eyes to look at it, or some guidance. We as a region, we're facing a major problem, right? Companies, they can't find people in tech to fill certain roles. Developers may not have the requisite skills, expertise, and experience. A lack of awareness of our talent pool, products and services, and of course, the status quo. Oh no. We, for the most part, we're a consumer of technology. We aren't really producers like that. Here's a look at some past events we had. We had a very interesting debate. This was, I think, probably one of our longest debates to date. It was 2.5 hours discussing whether or not Jamaican tech workers are overpaid or underpaid. Yes, Sigma. The Sigma run was this Sunday, and we had a great time there, right? They raised more than the money that they set out to raise, and it was a record 30,000 participants. I barely had space to run. Last week, we had an exciting presentation from the one and only Alden Crossdale. He told us that positioning for success isn't just about, earning, what's that? 1 mil per month, as the youth nowadays say. It's about finding balance, It's about maybe spending more time with your family, your friends, giving back to a community, charities, and all these other lovely things, right? Success goes beyond just, monetary or that promotion at work and other things along that line, right? Here are two slides from, that meeting we had. Um, the first one, as you can tell, is a bit of a joke there. The success memorizing JavaScript or marrying the most beautiful girl. So he also gave us some tips. What can you do? Make sure you set realistic goals, build something, mentor somebody, invest in yourself, and of course, don't you give up. So let me tell you about today's speaker. Yes, you're in for a treat today. Michael Barrett is a staff engineer at Clubhouse. You guys remember that? It went viral during the whole pandemic period. The social audio app where he leads the iOS team. In his day-to-day work, he builds and launches brand new apps from the ground up, testing them with users to find the next big social app idea. Previously, he was an iOS engineer at the blogging platform Medium. Yeah, I think I did write a few articles on Medium myself, so, big up Michael. Michael is also the creator of Granny Say, an iOS app where users can explore and discuss Jamaican proverbs. I know some of you who grow with your granny and show her say all type of wise things. Some of you who never grow with your granny, well, you can go to this app and hear some things that she might have said. App users wake up to a daily proverb and can add their favorite proverbs to their home screen. Passionate about product innovation, he combines technical excellence with a strong focus on user experience. All right, Mr. Barrett,
All
you
right.
may share.
Thanks. Let me share my screen and thank you for such a warm welcome. So yeah, good afternoon. Just wanted to, um, say thank you. Appreciate everyone taking out time out of their Tuesday afternoon to come listen, come learn about building mobile apps. So, all right, let's jump right into it. So, what to expect from this talk tonight? Just an overall picture on how to build and launch mobile apps to the App Store, and we'll use my own app to walk through the process of how I was able to do that. So, first, you already heard about me in the beginning, but yeah, as I already mentioned, I'm a developer at Clubhouse, previously worked at Medium, and as you can probably tell, grew up abroad in the US and currently based in Toronto, Canada. So first off, why apps? It's easy enough nowadays to build websites. So why build an app? Well, three main reasons come to mind for me. First, unlike websites, apps can continue working without internet. So, once the person has downloaded your app, if they don't have data or they don't have internet, they can still use your software, depending on the app, of course. Um, Secondly, unlike websites, you can continue to re-engage people to keep using your app. So, a website, you visit it and you leave it. But with the app, I'm sure we're all used to our phones going ding, 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 ding all day. And from a, app creator perspective, that's a great thing to keep people coming back. And then lastly, it's easier to make money, earn an income from apps. You can charge people to download the app in the first place, or, I'm sure you're used to using an app and then they tell you to pay a subscription fee to keep on using it. Um, so these are a few of the apps that I've contributed to or created, but as I mentioned before, I want to focus on the app that I put in the App Store. So these are a few screenshots from my app, and it's focused on Jamaican proverbs. And, at its core is a simple app. You can explore the different proverbs, add them to your home screen, uh, get a notification every morning, and then um, you can also leave comments to ask about what a proverb means or respond to someone and tell them uh, what you think the proverb means to them. So, we call this presentation app idea to app store. Well, step one, you need an idea, preferably a simple idea, and preferably a good, simple idea. So this idea came to me up here in Canada. People who come from the West Indies, of course, love to represent where they come from. And so we'll buy these things to put in their car to show off, our culture. And so I figure the same people motivated to, you know, show off and represent where they come from would probably want something on their phone to also, represent their culture. And so when I thought about things that represent Jamaican culture for me, outside of the music or the food, one main one is Proverbs. So here's a quick demo of the app before I walk you through, uh, how it was built. So the users just get greeted, with a message. We ask them for permission to send them notifications in the morning, and then we give them instructions on how to install the widget. And so it's a very, simple on its face app. You can explore different proverbs and then sign in if you want to comment. And then I'll just quickly show you adding it to your home screen. So, you just search for Granny Say, and then you add it to your home screen. And then now, you can look at it every day and see a new proverb. So that's the app. Um, that's the origin of the idea. Step two, once you have a good idea, you've told your friends and family you're building this app. Well, step two is building the app. So, this is the Jamaican developers community. So let's get down into the nitty-gritty of how to actually develop the app. So first step, and what you'll hear me talk about tonight, I'll mostly focus on iPhone apps, but it's applicable to both iPhone and Android. So for iPhones, the piece of software you'll want is Xcode um, for building, native iOS apps. And if you want to go the Android route, download Android Studio. These are both free to download. And so instead of just talking to you about it, let me give you a quick demo of what Xcode looks like and how it works. So when you download Xcode, actually, let me share my full screen. When you download Xcode, it'll prompt you to create a new project. So, you just go to new project, select app, give it, full name. You can leave the defaults as is. I've done this already, but then you would hit next and it would create a project for you. And this is really, iOS nowadays and Android as well has gotten pretty friendly to work with. So you can see, it's an empty app, but it doesn't take that much code to get things, up and running. So on the left, you'll see my code, and on the right, you'll see the preview of what I'm building. So let's pretend I'm building Granny Say all over again. Let's say to start, I just want to show a list of my proverbs. So what you see me writing in is Swift UI. This is the latest and greatest language for developing apps on Apple. And as you'll see, it's fairly friendly to work with. So I just define that there's a list, and then I can, uh, add a proverb here, and then you'll see Xcode. Oops, meant to say text. And then you'll see Xcode is rendering that right here. So let's take that a step further. Let's actually, create a list of proverbs in an array and show it in the app. So yeah, let's just say we have an array, and let's fill it with some proverbs like, every mickle make a muckle, um, one cocoa for basket, maybe, mickle but with talawa, and then in SwiftUI, you can just do a for each proverb, um, and then for the text, you just put in the proverb, and I'll walk you through this code just a second, but just to show you in how few lines you can get something like up and this running, something like this up and running. All right, so you see, I took our proverbs in the array. We told it make a list. We said for each item in the proverb, and it's asking us how we want to identify each object in the array, and we just say, use the whole string, put a piece of text, and the text containing, the string in the proverb. And, so as easy as that. And then you can get into stuff like in SwiftUI, if you want to arrange things vertically, you can use a vertical stack. So maybe I have a vertical stack, and let's say this is my proverbs, and let's make it bold. And let's make it, a bigger font, so maybe a large title. And so you can see, what's this, less than 20 lines of code. You already have, sort of the basis for an app. You can get into more, advanced usages like, let's say, uh, I create a long list of proverbs. And let's say I want to make an app where you can hit a button and it will show you a new proverb each time you hit the button. So let's say our current proverb is just the first one. Um, let's add a piece of text which shows the current proverb. Let's add a button that every time you press it, it will set a new random proverb. So let's say, random, and then let's say the button says refresh. And then, let's make it look nice. So let's add a background and we'll use that vertical stack again. And let's give it some colors that look decent. So let's do, um, sure, let's do, you know, and then let's give it some space on both sides. And then let's tell it to, ignore the edges. Let's give it a frame that's as wide as it needs to be. And then let's make the button just look a little nicer by giving it, um, some different coloring. Let's just say, all right, so already in not much time, in, not too many lines of code, we have the semblance of an app where if you press the button, you can refresh it and you can get a different proverb each time. So that's just to show you, uh, it doesn't take that much to get up and running. And similar thing with Android. Android, instead of Swift UI, they use something called composables, but the code looks almost identical where you probably have a vertical stack. You can, add buttons and text, and this doesn't look so bad already. So let me jump back to the presentation. Oops. Okay, so in not much time, we were able to go from nothing to an app that helps you cycle through different proverbs, which is basically what you see in this first picture. But one thing with apps, especially if you start with a simple idea, you can add features on afterwards. Uh, so, one from one angle, improve your knowledge of the technology and also make it a better experience for your users. So one of those additional features I added is being able to export your proverb to Instagram in case you want to post it on your story. Another one is, adding it to your home screen as a widget where it updates every day. And then, of course, comments. Comments was a highly requested feature because, you want to be able to ask, what does this proverb mean? Um, so that's building the app part. Step three, which you might want. So in my case, when I built um, Granny Say, I wanted to be able to, when we built our app, let me quickly jump back there. We just have a long list of proverbs in an array. Uh, and that's great, but suppose I want to add a new one later on. I don't want to have to rebuild the app, upload it to the App Store again for you to see a new proverb. I want to be able to go on my server, have the app ask my server what are the latest proverbs so I can easily update them for my users. So in order to do that, you might want some additional services. Uh, I'm mostly iOS engineer, so I won't go into too much detail, but uh, you'll probably want a database. So for example, with the comments, I wanted it so that you know, people can leave a comment, it gets saved in the database, and then when other people open the app, they can see the comments in the database. I use something called MongoDB. which I find is approachable for someone like me who's not a database expert. It lets you view everything in the database, and if you need to edit anything, you can edit it just like, a Word document. It makes it very easy, and you don't have to write any SQL or anything like that. Um, and then, as I mentioned, a server. Um, I'm also not a server engineer, so I used the most approachable thing to me, which is something called Node and Express. And this is some actual code from the server for my app. And this is the function for deleting your comment. And as you can see, I didn't need to write any SQL or anything like that. MongoDB takes care of that, and Node and Express handling the request to the server when my app makes it and returning it. So, if you go line by line, when we're deleting a comment, we just grab the comment ID, we go into the database, the collection of comments, and then we ask it to delete the one entry that matches that comment ID. And then lastly, whenever I launch an app, I always want to know, are people using the app? Do people open it every day? Do people open it and then never use it again? And so the software I use for that is Google Analytics, and you can easily integrate that into your iOS app or your Android app, or websites for that matter. And it will show you how many users, how many installs. And so this is a screenshot I took for the Granny Say app. And you can see at the time I was looking at the dashboard, two people were actively using the app at that very time. And then it also shows you, in the last month or so, about 300 people use the app, with about 90 of those people being new users. And then, so we walked through how to uh, start with an idea, write some code in Xcode to build the app. You may want a database or a server in addition to that, depending on what you're building. But finally, you'll want to, actually launch your app. So I think, as mentioned at the start, um, you need to go through the App Store. So this is probably where iPhone apps and Android differ the most, is in the price. So in order to upload to the App Store for iPhones, you need to pay 99 US per year for a developer account. So you pay 99 US, and then for that entire year, you can upload as many apps as you want to for the App Store for that year. You can, then that's as opposed to Android, where you pay 25 US and that's it. You can upload as many apps as you want forever. But in either case, once you have a developer account with either App Store, you can upload your app either to App Store Connect, which is what they call it for iPhones, or to Google Play Console, which is for Android. Now, in both cases, you will need to provide them with an app description. And the thing most people, well, I always forget about is the screenshots. So, for example, if I look up my app in the App Store now, all of these pictures, you need to upload them, and they need to be, they'll give you the exact dimensions, but, it needs to be pixel perfect in terms of, 800 pixels by 1200 pixels, that kind of thing. Um, so and then, as mentioned before, which is probably the most maybe painful part about apps, is not even the building part, but going through app review. So app review, these app stores want to make sure that, Tom, Dick, and Harry are not uploading, just foolishness to the app store. So they want to use your app and make sure that it's something that people would like, and isn't broken, that kind of thing. So you need to go through an app review before other people can download the app. App review these days probably takes a day or two or three. So just know once you upload it, it won't be available right away. And sometimes they'll ask for, uh, they'll ask questions about your app. For example, one app um, I worked on recently, we were giving away a cash prize to users who use the app. So Apple wanted to know, you know, how are you giving out this prize? Is this a gambling app? Are people paying taxes on this money? All types of stuff. But for simple apps, and in my case with this Granny Say app, if it's a very simple idea and easy to test, 9 times out of 10, uh, you'll get through. So just a tip, read through the guidelines to know um, what's not allowed, and make sure that your app abides by that. But after all is said and done, after the idea, after developing the app, um, it's off to the races. So hopefully that gave you a overall picture of how um, the App Store process works. And yeah, happy to answer any questions you all may have.
All right, people. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. As you know, I know that some of you in here are app developers yourself, and you've probably gotten about 10 rejections at this point. So there's a man who's made it happen, right? Or if you're too shy to speak, you can leave your comments in, our comment section. Mm. But it's a pretty interesting presentation. So the question I'd ask people is, why would I ever choose to go Apple when I can just get paid a one-time money with Android?
Yeah, interestingly enough, so as a user, I like using Android phones, but I find especially doing this work full time, iPhone users, since they spend that top dollar for the phone itself, are also a little more willing to pay for apps or subscriptions, and so you'll find, yeah, in general, you shouldn't if money is the objective, iPhone users can be a good target just because you have to pay top dollar for the phone itself, and then Apple also just is a lot more integrated in their payment methods where on iPhone you just have to do a Face ID and your money's gone. So that's one big advantage. Um, But then otherwise, building apps for either platform, there's not too much difference. All of the devices, every phone has GPS and good cameras and all of that. Um, so yeah, no big advantage from one platform to the other.
All right, I thought you were gonna give me that speech about how Apple users are superior to the rest of you Android folk, but I'll let you get away this time. So I see a question here. Can we get a link to download and test your app?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll drop this link in the chat. So yeah, feel free to download. And here I can actually show you, um, I'll tell you if anyone's using my app right now. Um, but yeah, I just dropped the link, and I'll keep an eye on if anyone has the app open. So yeah, this is Google Analytics. You see, there's one person using my app in Miami right now. Um, and down here you have all their uh, everything they've done in the app. So we requested notifications from them. They opened the app. When they opened the app, this was the app update. Um, yeah. looks like, oh yeah, I see some questions. How do I monetize? Uh, yeah, so um, I could probably give a whole uh, presentation on monetization itself, but the simplest way to monetize is to charge money to download your app in the first place. So right there in App Store Connect, let me see if I can quickly load that up for you. Um, uh, yeah, I won't. Thought I was logged in already. But basically, when you're ready to publish your app, you can set a price for your app. And Apple will ask you some information just for tax purposes. They want to know, where you live. Are you registered under a business? They want you to link your bank account. Um, and similar thing on Android. And then you just set the price. And both Apple and Android, I believe. I know Apple for sure takes 30% of your profits. So,
Robbery.
and that goes for downloading your app. Also, if you charge people money within the app itself, Apple will always take 30% for themselves. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Um, and
All
then
right, so like question from me. Let's say I wanna just sell my app for $999. Would they allow that?
Yeah, I believe there was one app in the early days of the App Store, and the app was just called I Am Rich. And I think the app costs something like that, 1,000 US dollars, and there was nothing in the app at all. It was just, a picture of a diamond or something. So uh, technically, I don't think there's any restrictions on the price. But of course, you have to make sure people are willing to pay that amount.
Okay. I think I did hear that story, but the way I see, Jamaican people really spend money online like that for apps. So would it be wise for me to charge for my app to be downloaded?
Yeah, so I I I find that yeah, most people are hesitant to pay, money for an app. So another way to monetize is via advertisements. And you can if you're building apps, the thing to search for is, iOS Ad SDK. So you can see there's, Google has one. Looks like there's some honey gain, but uh, basically they will plug into your app. It could be like a banner ad on the bottom of your app, or or it could be like a full screen ad where you need to close it. Um, but that's one way to monetize. The thing with monetizing via advertisements is that you need a lot more people to be using your app to gain, a meaningful income. Because for every app view, they might pay you, barely anything. So you need thousands of people to be using your app. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, Also, I saw a question about the name of this app compiler. You can find it here. For iPhone, it's Xcode, and then for Android apps, it's Android Studio. And these pieces of software, they give you it's straight from Apple and straight from Google, so it gives you everything you need to build the app. As I showed before, they give you the thing that lets you preview your changes in the actual, device, almost as if it's a real iPhone. Same thing on Android, you can simulate a Android app, and even right from this piece of software, you can um, upload your app to the App Store. So, um, yeah, Xcode and Android Studio.
All right, I have a question here. I'm guessing this person was shy because they messaged me directly. What was the most challenging part of developing your app?
Mm. Um, yeah, I guess two things. Yeah, so first, don't underestimate the idea, the ideation part of things. I've gone through many, many, many different app ideas that, you put it out there and not a single person uses the app. So um, uh, this one was special to me because just the reception from people after, I've made habit tracker app before to, motivate you to work out and that kind of thing, but nobody ever used that one. And, you just rack your brain. But once you find one that resonates with people, um, feels really good. And then I would say the other challenging part was, as I mentioned, the actual writing code for the app itself isn't too difficult once you get a hang of it. But all of this extra uh, you know, I need to make a database if I want to add comments because you need to store the comments somewhere. I need to figure out how to create a server to communicate with the app. Since that's a little bit outside of my strengths, that was the part that was more difficult for me.
All right. So I know some persons joined late. You can, if you have a question, you can raise your hand or you can jump to the chat. But thank you, Michael. All right. I'm gonna be resharing my screen. All right. So you all had a very well done presentation by Michael here. I'm looking forward to hear about, the many new Jamaican multi-million dollar apps that will be flooding the app store soon. Right. We have a couple of events coming up. One is a demo day called One Pot, where we're gonna have three brilliant presenters. The other one is our career day, which is next week. That's February 25th, and you're gonna learn about digital marketing in our highly connected world. The third one is a special physical event. We're gonna meet up. You're gonna see each other outside of these little boxes that you usually view each other in and interact, talk to other people. Right? So for Jad Connect in March, we're gonna have a special Uno tournament where the winner will get a cash prize. So get your Uno skills sharpened up and get ready to play. All right. You guys already asked your questions. I'm not seeing any new questions here or there. Okay. So the community is putting forward a challenge for this week. Build a personal finance tracker, a web app. Objective, create a simple web app that allows users to input their daily expenses, track their spending, categorize it, and view monthly summaries. Tech stack, the basic stuff, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Vue, whatever you want to use like that. Firebase or Node.js for the backend, database like Mongo or SQLite. Challenge focus, UI UX design, data management, and API integration. So those of you interested can send us an email, right, with the app that you build. It can be a short recording of, the web app. And we can indeed post it on our community page and attribute you as well. So here's our JAD meetup page. You go on meetup.com and follow us so that you are informed whenever we have more exciting demo days and presentations like this one today. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for attending. Right? You can follow us on social media at JamDevCo, and that's it for today's presentation. See you next time, everyone. All right. Bye, Michael.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
All right.